Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, a major decision from the U.S. Supreme Court today significantly weakens the landmark Voting Rights Act. Also tonight, the latest on cases of measles in Maricopa County. And a new report looks at the economic impact of outdoor water recreation in the state. Those stories and more next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your public television station.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. The U.S. Supreme Court today struck down a Louisiana congressional map and its new majority-minority district as, quote, racial gerrymandering. The decision significantly limits the landmark Voting Rights Act and will no doubt impact future elections around the country. Joining us now is Stephen Montoya, partner at Montoya, Lucero and Pastor. Good to see you.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Thanks for coming in on this. Okay, so this is a Louisiana map. I know two districts there are majority-minority. Would the court look at both of them or just the latest one?
Well, the court looked to the creation of two. First, there was one. The district court, in a decision by a Trump appointee, and in a finding that was over 100 pages long, said, hey, this is intentional discrimination. African Americans are 1/3 of the population, but they only have 1/8 of the House seats. So the district court judge, a staunch conservative, said, hey, you have to give them another seat. It went all the way up to the Supreme Court. It was argued last term. And the issue of alleged racial gerrymander was not decided and was not raised by either party. The Supreme Court itself raised the issue sua sponte and
what does that mean, sua sponte?
On its own motion.
Okay.
See, usually parties present questions to the court. The question in this case was presented to the court by the court itself and re-argued this term, and then this is what happened.
And what happened was the court decides 6-3, totally ideological lines here, that this map, this district, I should say, violates the Equal Protection Clause in the Constitution. Did the court get it wrong?
It got it wrong twice over. First of all, the court said it was unconstitutional because the district court judge, Trump appointee, staunch Republican, used race in deciding that there had to be two districts. And they considered that in and of itself to be a racial gerrymander that violated the Constitution. But the Supreme Court also decided on its own motion, no party raised this issue until it was raised by the court, that in order to establish a violation of the Voting Rights Act in the first place, you had to show strong evidence of intentional discrimination. And that's really one of the most troubling aspects of the case, because Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act actually overruled another Supreme Court case called City of Mobile versus Bolden in 1980. In that case, the Supreme Court said in order to show a violation of Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, you have to show intentional discrimination. Congress said, hey, that's not what we meant, and that's not what we're going to allow you to do, Supreme Court. So they amended Section 2 to say showing a discriminatory result, a disparate impact was enough.
So, but the court today said, no, we're going back. We're going back to what the court did originally before Congress.
Correct.
What was the reasoning here? They called it a limited ruling, and that basically the content, the central tenet of the Voting Rights Act, VRA, that the central tenet remains. Again, did they get that right?
They got that wrong. They said the central tenet of the Voting Rights Act was to prohibit intentional discrimination. However, that's not what Congress said. Congress said that there has to be an equal opportunity to vote, and arrangements or laws, customs, policies that take away that right by making it more difficult for minorities to vote are illegal if that's their result, notwithstanding their intent.
So Congress said effect. Supreme Court today said no, it's intent.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's intent, both in establishing a violation, but also you can't use race in establishing a remedy.
Yes. Okay, this is already affecting a ton of states in the South. I mean, they are racing to get everything figured out before primary season and general election season. What about us out here in the West?
It's probably going to impact us too. We'll just see. You know, we have a Democratic governor who has veto power. And we also have the redistricting commission.
That's what I was going to ask about.
Yeah.
We have our own commission here. We kind of are insulated against all these things,
Yeah,
aren't we?
well, no, because remember the Brenovich versus Democratic National Committee case, that came out of Arizona. And in that case, the court allowed the state of Arizona to impose some restrictions that the lower court in the Ninth Circuit had found unconstitutional. They basically said, hey, third parties can't pick up your vote. If you can't drive, maybe you're paralyzed. Moreover, you have to vote in your own precinct. So if that means that you have to travel across the state to vote in your own precinct because you moved, or because you're visiting relatives, or because you're homebound or hospital bound, your vote doesn't count.
Justice Kagan today said in opposition, consequences are likely to be far-reaching and grave. Did she get that right?
Yeah, only I think that she might have actually underestimated it. The Voting Rights Act is essentially dead. The Supreme Court had already declared that Sections 4 and 5 of the Act were a nullity because they violated the Constitution. Remember the pre-clearance requirement of Section 5?
Right.
That if you wanted to change any voting district, you had to run it through the Department of Justice first.
That's long gone.
That's long gone. So that was the first blow. They got rid of Section 4, Section 5. Now they got rid of Section 2 de facto.
Yeah. Okay. Impact on minority representation on Capitol Hill.
Yeah, I think it is going to have an impact because I don't think we're going to have any more African American members of the United States Congress from the southern states anymore.
And as far as Latino representation in Congress, in California, I should say, and around the West.
Well, in California, I don't think it's going to matter because California is a minority-majority state, and it's a deeply Democratic state, so I don't think it's going to matter there. However, in states like Colorado, Arizona, I think it will matter.
And it will matter probably more in 2028 than this year.
I think so. It's going to take some time to actually think of a plan and run it through the courts. But as you know, as we've discussed, the Supreme Court has a habit of fast-tracking those cases.
So, bottom line, the Supreme Court says, bottom line, redistricting, go for it. If it happens to fall to a minority district, good for you. We don't care. Just don't try to make it based on race.
Correct. Either in remedy or in establishing the violation.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy times in the South here.
It's going to. Well, yeah, it is, and it was already pretty bad.
Yeah, Stephen Montoya, Lucero, and Pastor. Pretty big. This is a big ruling, isn't it?
It's a big ruling. And it really does further undermine democracy, and it's really a pattern of the court striking down legislative action to try to strengthen democracy and the right to vote.
Stephen Montoya, thank you, sir. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Broadcasting from the campus of Arizona State University, this is KAET Phoenix, Channel 8, your public television station.
You're watching Arizona PBS.
You're watching Arizona PBS, and your Arizona connection starts right here.
On this episode of Now Hear This, the composer we're following is you. And by that, I mean me.
I've never written anything ever.
I turn to the experts for guidance.
Make music the way you feel it, make it yours.
Now Hear This on Great Performances.
Friday night at 9 on Arizona PBS.
Health officials are raising concerns after 4 new measles cases were reported in Maricopa County, bringing the year's total to 10. That's the highest county total in at least 30 years. To learn more, we welcome Will Humble, Executive Director of the Arizona Public Health Association. I don't know, Will, has it increased again? Are we still at 10 in Maricopa County?
We're still at 10 as of like this right now.
Yeah,
This
okay.
second. It could go up during the show.
Okay, so I know a lot of new cases were linked to a youth basketball game in
Correct.
Mesa, correct?
Yep. Yeah, so it was a basketball game in Mesa. A kid was there playing. I don't know the details. I wasn't a case investigator, but was then symptomatic afterwards. And then, as you remember from COVID, the contract tracing folks go in, figure out, okay, where was the case? So this is a youth basketball league. And so Maricopa County Public Health went out, found the teams that were there. It gave notice to the parents to try to get them to, especially the unvaccinated kids that were there, to really watch for symptoms so that they don't go into school and spread it in a charter school or something.
So the game was April 11th. The first case was reported April 16th. Everyone attending the game, everyone in that gym exposed.
Exposed, but not susceptible. Because all the vaccinated people were just like, no problem.
But if you were exposed and you weren't vaccinated and haven't been vaccinated, what's the incubation period? How long do you have to wait to find out whether you got it or not?
Somewhere between, say, 7 and 12 days is usually, but the incubation period could go all the way up to 20.
Yeah.
In some cases, that's a sort of the outside edge. So you can think of it like between a week to 2 weeks. For that exposure out on the east side, I think the end point for looking for symptoms is May 2nd or 3rd.
Holy smokes. And then in Queen Creek, there was apparently an Easter egg hunt, a church-sponsored Easter egg hunt. 3 locations there. They're tracking that one as well, huh?
Yep, so they're tracking that. I think that one, the exposure period for that one is over.
It's over with?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically we got 67 cases statewide. A lot of that is up at the northern border, correct?
Oh, there was a lot more than, you mean in 226?
Yes.
Because that above the Colorado strip up there,
Yes.
yeah, there was hundreds of cases between 2025 and 2026.
Yeah.
There was cases in Page.
But as far as
Maricopa
statewide
County.
this year, we're seeing how many?
Well, you just said the number.
67.
I get mixed up between 2025 and 2026.
Okay,
So,
all right. I guess the real question is, why? Why is this
well,
going
the
on?
vaccination rates are too low for a disease as contagious as measles. I mean, it's as simple as that. It's the most contagious disease there is, super contagious, and you have to have vaccination rates up in the 95% level to suspend and stop that transmission from person to person, to stop that chain. And we're not there anymore, and I don't think we're going to be there anymore. You know, I was giving a lecture for the medical students at ASU, I don't know, about a month ago, and I'm like, your generation of medical students are going to have to recognize measles when you're a clinician. You know, for about 2 generations of doctors, they didn't see measles cases. This generation is going to see it their whole career, I think.
Is that because of vaccine?
Or be able to recognize it.
Yeah, is that because of vaccine skepticism?
Yes.
Is that simply the only reason?
That's it. Yep.
Okay.
Simple as that.
All right. Well, so basically, we'll just leave it right there. And by the way, I think it was 220 cases last year. And we got 67 this year.
Right. Okay,
so I
that
want to
makes
get our
sense.
numbers straight there because it's probably changing even as we speak.
But
All
most of those cases were in the Colorado Strip of that 67.
Yes.
Yeah.
10 in Maricopa County, very different.
Correct.
All right. COVID, flu, what are we seeing?
So we're at the end of our respiratory illness season. The biggest player in terms of hospitalizations, emergency department visits this year was not COVID. It was influenza. So it peaked in early February, right around that golf tournament period, right? Early Super Bowl time. That's when that was peaking. At that point, it was like 5% of hospitalizations were because of influenza. COVID has been like less than 1% of hospitalizations have been COVID this respiratory season, and it's about the same for RSV.
The cicada thing that I've been hearing about, the cicada strain of COVID, were we worried about
Well, it's
that?
a different name and a different brand, but it's really the same product, you know? It didn't send people more frequently to the emergency department. It didn't have worse symptoms. It was able to trick immune systems a little bit better than the previous versions. But like I said, this last respiratory season, influenza was the major player, not COVID.
Vaccinations play a role in that?
Well, sure, because influenza is a vaccination.
Right.
That's a preventable illness as well. Vaccination rates are really low. I mean, compared to measles, it's really low.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought everyone got a flu shot.
Just you.
Yeah, I'm the only one.
No, it's about
All right.
a lot of seniors. Thankfully, a lot of seniors are very diligent about getting their influenza vaccine.
What are you trying to say there, Will? I mean, you're trying to...
We're seniors. We can talk about it.
Last point here. There's an acting CDC director, and there's a report regarding the efficacy of COVID vaccinations. And it sounds like this acting CDC director is, shoveling this under the nearest chair? I mean, what's going on?
Yeah, his name's Jay Bhattacharya. He's the interim or acting CDC director, has been for a few months. The staff there wrote a standard report with how effective was the COVID vaccine this influenza season. They showed it reduced hospitalizations by 50%. The staff is like, it went through all the review process, but then he's like, we're not publishing this thing. So it's, and I talked to someone at CDC, this is like first-hand knowledge of someone who works there, said like, it was all through the process, and they won't let us publish it.
All right, that's the acting director. The incoming director, do we know anything about this person? And will this person, pull it out from under the cushion?
Well, that's what we're going to find out. So I'm glad you asked. Her name's Erica Schwartz. She's the new nominee. She's a career U.S. Public Health Service physician. She has a great reputation. I saw her on National Public Health Week give a really good video about public health and vaccines and how all that stuff is good. So that'll be a first. I wrote a blog about this. It'll be kind of a first test for Dr. Schwartz if she gets into that CDC job. She's she's nominated, but not in the job yet. Does she bring the report up and publish it, or does she keep it shelved? That'll be the first thing where I say, okay, her reputation was good, but her behavior is not. Or I could be surprised and be like, all right, we have a CDC director now.
Will Humble, Arizona Public Health Association. Will, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, take care. Thanks.
I had 5 ancestors.
Several ancestors.
8 patriot ancestors.
I have 34 proven ancestors who fought in the American Revolution.
I would tell them how proud I am of their sacrifice, the fact that they were willing to go out and give up everything and commit treason against the crown for the beliefs of freedom and liberty.
I would ask them what led them to fight or support the cause of freedom in the colonies for American independence.
Thank you for the sacrifices, the lives and fortunes that people lost for our freedoms and to create this country that we are so proud to live in today.
I would reinforce to them how thankful I am every day for their sacrifices and what they did to bring freedom to the United States of America and to found this country with freedom for all and the opportunity for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
A new report from Audubon Southwest highlights the economic impact of water-based recreation in Arizona. It's an effort to make an economic case for protecting the state's rivers, lakes, and streams. Haley Paul is the Senior Policy Director at Audubon Southwest. Good to see you again. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. All right, water-based outdoor recreation. What exactly is that?
Yeah, what are we talking about here? So everything from picnicking and relaxing by a stream to fishing, boating, hiking, camping, wildlife watching, 8 different activities we evaluated in our study.
And that is, that if you're near water, that's outdoor recreation then, as far as you're concerned.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so the study basically makes a case, again, for protecting these waterways. What are you seeing right now as far as these activities and how protected or unprotected they are in certain areas?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Arizona is a really arid state, so the little ribbons of life that we do have are extremely precious. And the big top line from our report was that outdoor recreation along water, it's a $12 billion industry in the state and supports 72,000 jobs. So we think that means not only is it important for the environment, but we should protect it because it's really important for our economy.
Yeah, that's an annual output, that
Yes.
12 billion there. And on water related outdoor recreation, $9.7 billion. What, like on kayaks and bikes? And whoa, it's a lot of stuff.
I know. Well, the way we evaluated this number was by working with an economics research firm who conducted a study of Arizona residents, and we evaluated how much time do you spend recreating, how much money did you spend, how far from home did you travel. They take that information, then they compare it with the spending profiles, if you will, of the different outdoor recreation activities, put it into their fancy economic model, and that's how we get these great results.
And the jobs, $4 billion in wages
Yeah.
annually, huh?
Yeah.
And that means a lot of, that's a tax base. You got some tax, correct?
Exactly.
Some revenue?
I think about people that go hiking in Sedona, right, along Oak Creek, and then they have the restaurant afterwards. They go to the lunch, and then
Yeah.
all that ripple effect from the economy is what we see.
So all told, about $7 billion added to the state's GDP. That's like twice as much as golf?
Oh yeah. So we also had our economists do a little comparison. Not that we want to, play favorites, but we just wanted to see where does water-based outdoor recreation rank when it comes to industries. So we found that it's larger than the golf industry in the state and larger than the wine industry.
Yeah, and it supports more jobs than mining in the state?
Yeah. That's what our economic report says.
So when you get this economic report and you look at all these numbers and you're saying, well, my goodness, great, and you're not even counting things like cultural and spiritual and historical, that's not counted. When you present this to people, leaders, officials, decision makers, what's the point? What point are you trying to make?
Yeah. With this report, we really wanted to understand what's the value of the water itself in our rivers, lakes, and streams. So we know that water is important to our cities, agriculture, industry, but what about the water itself in the rivers? And I think what's really interesting about this report, to your decision maker question, is we were able to break this down by each county in the state. So how much does Cochise County contribute to the overall picture here? And so what's nice is local decision makers can see, the Whitewater Draw in southeast Arizona and Cochise County and the Wilcox Playa that support all these sandhill cranes, they also support this really big economic engine of people coming to watch these birds. And so I think it really gives people like kind of a different perspective on how to look at these places and how in your own backyard you really have an economic powerhouse.
Were there some surprises in some of the counties out there that you saw?
Yeah, I think the most interesting thing I found was just the different activities from around the state. And so I'll go back to my Cochise County. So wildlife watching was the top activity, which I found really fascinating, versus Coconino County, which has the Grand Canyon and all our forests. Camping and hiking were the top activities. So it just depended on where you were in the state with what activities were most popular.
And again, this report is being done amid historic drought, dwindling water supplies. Yep. How does that factor in?
Oh, it's a big factor. I think it was really great timing that we had this report, landed this year, because we are in a crisis for sure on the Colorado River. We've seen just dire hydrology, really grim, winter with not a lot of snow. And so I think it points to the fact that we cannot let our foot off the gas. We have to continue to invest in our rivers. We have to invest in our watersheds and our landscapes, as well as save water to help stabilize the system so that we're not in a crisis year after year after year.
Aside from conservation and saving water, when you say invest in rivers and streams and watersheds, what does that mean?
Yeah, so I think about things like forest health, right? So we know the Salt River Project is our utility that helps deliver Verde River and Salt River to the Phoenix Valley. They're a great example of work that's being done in the watershed in the forest to help thin the forest so that we reduce the risk of catastrophic wildfire. We can do headwaters restoration where you're keeping more water on the landscape, slowing down these meandering streams and letting them soak into the ground so that you have water in times of need. So it's not just running down really fast. So those are some examples of how we restore our landscapes.
It's interesting. I mean, how do you make sure that you keep nature as nature wants to be, at the same time trying to save nature by working things.
Yeah, I think it's always finding those win-wins. And that's what I'm really excited about this report, because I think it points to the need to continue to invest and find those win-wins. And I think, watershed restoration, landscape health, rangelands, keeping our grasslands healthy, all of that contributes to healthier water supplies. And we just can't only focus on hard infrastructure. We need to remember the natural infrastructure.
And last question here. Again, everything you've mentioned is obviously, for people that care about this, very important. But for some people, though, a dollar sign makes a big difference, doesn't it? It really translates.
It does. It helps kind of, convey the importance, and we know the environment is important, but this puts a new perspective on it, I think.
And where can we find the report?
Yeah, so go to audubon.org/azrivers, or just Google Economic Rivers Audubon, and you'll find us.
All right, very good. Haley Paul, Audubon Southwest. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And that's it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening. I like to think that at Arizona Horizon we are unique in the way that we present information, public policy, sometimes news, these sorts of things, because we have conversations, and I don't want conversation